This man has a problem, or rather this boy, this kid. It is, of course, the toddler MSN and his overwhelming obsession with Ibids. One and all, what are we going to do with this guy? We're on Receding. This map, I don't think I've seen any justification for Ibids in its design. It's a map which has got Stone Gen, it has got some interesting play on the Deer, so Pro Scouts potential maybe, and Merchant Camps. So like civs that do Dark Age or civs that use Stone makes sense, but an Iabid pick? These guys don't use Stone, and I can't think of a civ in Age of Empires 4 that builds Spear less than this civ. So I'm not really sure what MSN's up to. This is just a comfort pick, man. Like, we see it so often from him. He loves Iabids and Abbasids, like as his own child. Wham, on the other hand, has picked something very logical. It is going to be House of Lancaster, a civ that's already seen frequent picks here. It's a civ that actually uses, like, the Stone generation very well to get into manas. Can even set up the manas around the Forgotten Ruins to secure them. Yeah, so this map's a bit of an interesting one. I definitely think that Receding is designed for civs that probably find farm transitions a bit easier through different forms. So, for example, we would have, English comes to mind because they can do farms easier. Or you'd have Malians because they can spawn cows. Or House of Lancaster because they build manas. All very powerful civs. Roos as well can make a lot of sense. I think they do okay with the deer pushing being so simple. And then we have seen like Chinese Shushi also. Because once again, Pro Scouts plus the fact they take limited food and make it last longer. I've been wondering if we maybe change this map to remove some of the Forgotten Ruins. Maybe deplete it down to just 2. And then you have this interesting kind of like fast castle relic builds can somewhat work. Yeah, because then Iabids would actually make some sense. Because remember, Iabids usually thrive on maps where you can fast castle. Because you're able to hoover up relics. But there's only going to be 2 you can access. Okay, so Wham has secured Merchant Camp already. Didn't go for Forgotten Ruins just yet. I imagine MSN, like, is this going to be Dervish Wing? Maybe just growth makes a lot of sense. Do I ever speak about RTS development and design on my channel? We talk about it a lot, I think. We have a very interesting understanding. So background for me is like I was a game design graduate. I was a blue chip software developer for 2 years. And then also like I have the understanding from an influencer marketing standpoint as I like run an agency. And then obviously I'm a content creator myself. I have like 5 different POVs on the gaming industry. It's pretty weird. Yeah, we do like not just like with RTS as Battle Aces. We talk about development a lot. And I think maybe that makes the cast more interesting is that you get that kind of litter in between new interesting things happening. We just kind of explore these different concepts. I kind of want to do more of them. Like, I'm hoping when we get someone new on board for the YouTube editing, because we are looking for a new YouTube editor because our one no longer can commit time. I'd love to actually like have someone that's able to go through these VODs and is trimming down like these kind of TED Talks into their own videos as well. Wait, is MSN doing 2TC? This is weird, man. Oh, this is so weird. I guess in a way, it can kind of make sense against Lancaster. You're going to be 3 villages ahead in 30 seconds. And then you can get decent timing on the second TC to stay ahead of the mana spam. Why Tower, though? The Spearman. He knew that Lancaster was opening spears. Just makes sense. So it defends him. This is funky, man. Me exclusively a dedicated part of the channel. I think I just hit on that though, right? Like that would make sense once we have the YouTube side. We have talked. We've had like full-on 20, 30-minute TED Talks about development and other things in the past. It's just like, I don't think it's been targeted, curated so far. And it kind of makes sense that it's not because like Twitch is to a certain degree about continuity of like content. People come to expect a certain thing. It's like the reason it's a bit impromptu is like it's when it comes up versus being scheduled because I don't know if we really have the audience that would be intrigued by me talking about game development philosophies for like an hour. Well, there is a desire to expand content. I've talked about this multiple times. It's beneficial for the existing AoE community. as well, because it attracts new audiences. Okay, so second TC is going to be coming on berries. Maybe. Yeah, Wham, at this point, is probably kind of scratching his head a little bit. It's going to be a fast castle build. Look at the macro. He maybe adds in 1 or 2 manas, just gradually off of Forgotten Runes, but I think the clear intent here is for Wham to get into age 3 and then rush Earlsguard at his opponent. Oh, dude, this build is getting so dirty. I mean, the thing is, like, we do semi-dedicated conversations. Like, the thing is, I respond to a lot about what chat says. So when they ask questions about development, etc., we dive into it. It works quite nicely in like a current configuration for early game, because a lot of AoE4 maps don't have much happening early game. But yeah, there are times where we go a lot deeper, especially when there's like a big topical discussion to highlight. So Emerson's not scouting him, right? Like, he's just kind of riding it blind. Why? This is pretty important. If he at least knows Earlsguard is coming, he can do... Actually, I don't know what he can do. Oh my god, actually, I think the only thing he could possibly do is build outposts. This is pretty rough, guys. Like, what are you building in Philae to deal with Earlsguard? Desert Raiders suck. Like, you legitimately will just get annihilated. Because the dagger throws. The dagger throws is all it takes. Like, the melee off is kind of okay, but you're so dented by the time you get into melee, it doesn't matter. And Desert Raiders is slow to scale. This is going to be brutal, man. Like, what, just White Tower in the front? Oh, yeah, he's sending it. You could punt it into the 8k gold, which is also then going to spawn 3 Earlsguard right next to the enemy. You could then set up Raxes here as well. This is dirty, man. Does he maybe look to White Tower drop the TC even? No, I think he wants the food. Because, guys, for a good old Earlsguard rush, what do you as an Englishman truly need? Not Earl's You need a lot of meat, and this is going to be the food necessary. This is so freaking ridiculous. MSN is trying to prep himself for an age up. I think you have to advancement here. Like, 24 seconds doesn't sound like a lot until you experience Earlsguard rushes. And in some ways, they kind of made advancement wing feel so bad on the timings. I feel like I'd rather have it save less resources, but tech you even faster. Like, oh god, it's going to be reinforcement wing. Okay, so 3 Earlsguard versus 3 Desert Raiders. Who would win? Well, considering the Earlsguard are also upgraded. I'm a back my boys. Brits, be saluting Brits here. The boys are on the way. He's even building manners behind this, by the way. Let the Earlsguard spam begin. Villagers are going to go for the garrison. Wham's not going to go for the dive. He's going to respect it right now. Desert Raiders will win? Okay, you're huffing like some serious camel hopium there. The problem is, like, maybe if there's enough of them, sure. But early on, like, you have 3 Desert Raiders versus 3 Earlsguard. What's going to happen is Dagger Throw comes out, 17 damage, 3 times. That's half your HP on one of them. Like, you're thinking of this fight in way too linear of a fashion. In a melee, sure, like, Desert Raiders do pretty well against Men-at-Arms. These aren't Men-at-Arms. They are men at beyond arm's length. 17 damage on a 15-second cooldown is really freaking good. And remember, if you ever, like, overwhelm him or try to, like, gap close, there's a White Tower to hide under. Not to mention the difference in timing, right? Like, in 20 seconds, you're going to have 3 Desert Raiders. Right now, his opponent's going to be up to 7 Earlsguard. They throw an axe or a hammer? They throw a dagger. They throw a dagger for 17 damage. Swinging a warhammer does less damage than throwing a dagger. Proof that size doesn't matter. you need to, you can clip that and ship it to your wife. I think MSM may need to go crying to mummy at this rate. Burn power coming through and no torch armor. And here we go. Triple Desert Raider. Oh my god, that wasn't... Is it even on cooldown? Yeah, it did go on cooldown. Tell me again about how, like, Desert Raiders beat this. Oh, that's what makes it even more toxic. The TC is the perfect size length that when the Desert Raiders come in, you can get that pun. And here we go. Crossbow counting out. You'd think it makes sense, right? Right? It's all about momentum. Remember also, these are faster men-at-arms. The Earl's Guard move quicker than the crossbows. These dagger throws are just so good at clearing small quantities of units. I think against Earl's Guard, like, you have to play a quantity game. You have to be really patient about contesting the strategy. Dagger thing changes the whole... Yeah, it's almost like I warned you that these are not men-at-arms. Never put these in the same pen as a standard armor-clad MAA. They fulfill such a different role. This is probably the most dangerous men-at-arms rush that exists in Age of Empires 4 right now. And watch what happens to those Desert Raiders. Holy oop! He goes straight for the crossbows instead. It's so much more comical with the torches, man. TC is going to be repaired. That was not worth it. He killed, what, 4 Earl's Guard? Lost 3 crossbows, the Desert Raider. I think he lost 1 or 2 villages. And all the idle time. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Ranged armor 2's on the way now. A reminder, by the way, if he gets ranged damage, it will buff the dagger throws as well. He could also very easily be sniping these workers. When they come out to repair, you just need to punt... I think it's 5 daggers now, actually. Oof. Or you just A-click their faces off. The thing is, he's already so close to the villagers that you save the daggers to kill these. Count is looking pretty good for MSN now. He's up to 8 crossbows. Was up to 8 crossbows. Maybe soon to be less. At some point, WAM has to build a different unit, right? Right? I mean, I'm trying to like scratch my brain about MSN's gold solution. Maybe Springles? Springles are weird though. Like I actually think like the Springles, because of the dagger throw, Springles can actually suffer. Because Springles have 55% range resistance, so each dagger still hits them for 8 damage. So you can get sniped there as well. Well, Dive's going to come in. Crossbows unable to run away from this. And also remember, WAM is up to 6 manas. So this eco lead is kind of irrelevant for MSN. And it looks like he's starting to spread out a bit with the Earl's Guard. Okay, that could actually be good for MSN. If WAM starts to spread a little bit too thin, then the daggers aren't that relevant. They won't get kills anymore. However, right now, the reinforcing crossbows... Wait, what? Oh no, MSN was so busy microing, he didn't notice, and he walked straight into the choke point that's blocked. This is an absolute disaster. And an absolute stomping. Again, the daggers. Oh my god, it's such a crazy ability when used this way. And this is the weird thing, like Earl's Guard in the mid-castle age, I think are, I don't want to say underwhelming, but this detail's a shrug. When the armies are big enough, I don't think this matters as much. It's when the armies are small, the dagger throw is crazy. When the armies are hyper big, no, there's potential for it to be relevant again when you get into Imperial Age, because there is that unique dagger throw tech that throws 2 daggers with AoE splash. Very small AoE splash though, like think kind of like a Zutsu. The other thing that I think made people not really aware of this Earl's Guard build at first is it's super clunky. Because the fact they're a melee unit means that they charge into melee when in range, there's this weird kind of pivot point where you want to use dagger throws but don't. Like if I'm closer than, let's say, I mean, I need to find one that's not moving. Let's say an Earl's Guard is here and I'm here. Beyond here, the Elsguard will throw the dagger. Closer, he'll run into you instead. So it's a very weird ability for that reason. This weird and wacky strategy. Looks poised to win now. This time, the TC is going down. He's got Yeoman to support, so the villagers can no longer sneak repairs. I mean, army's on the way, but the fact is Yeoman makes it even worse for MSN. He went mass crossbows, and Wham just very organically pivoted into counter, while also is now saving up for Imperial. This is brutal, man. 17 worker kills. Not only that, he excavated the relics in the end, so he's picking those up. That girl's coming. Oh, God. The crazy thing is, like, I think this would be reasonably balanced if it wasn't for the ease with which he scaled manners behind it. That's what truly puts this on another level. Because it wasn't just Earlsguard. He just so easily was able to keep pumping Earlsguard and then pivot Yeoman because he has 6 manners generating 105 resources split between food and wood. Everything you need for bows. Wild game. What a cool game one. I mean, we knew MSN's pick was a little bit funky, right? So maybe the argument Iber just didn't have any potency here, but how's the Lancaster being played for the aggro instead of the defense? There's just so many ways this Civ is becoming applicable.